Okay, so I've got Alex Castillo with me, who's like a good friend of mine. He's always working on really interesting and brain blowing or brain reading projects, right? So Alex, tell me, how did your development journey started? Like, how did you become a developer?
Yeah. So I actually started when I was around 15, creating websites just for myself. Like I had a rock band back in the day,
Oh wow!
a rock band. So I wanted to put something out there, and that's when a friend of mine from high school started teaching me HTML on a notebook, and I wasn't even paying much attention on like what he was teaching me was about. So I learned how to write HTML on a notebook before I did anything. And then it became a hobby. Back then in the Dominican Republic, I didn't know anyone that I could look up to that was doing the same thing. So it didn't click me that it was actually a profession until I moved to the U.S. and I saw how the technology field, everything that happens and the community and the jobs and all of that. So I actually went to college for design, and when I graduated, I actually started interviewing with companies, and I got two job offers, and one was a designer role, one was a software engineer role, and I guess I chose the blue pill. So that's how I started, and then it has been just working for consultancy firms and product companies, Grubhub, and Netflix, and yeah.
Cool. And how did you start with Angular? What brought you there?
Wow. When I was leading a front-end team at my first job, I was looking for the direction that I wanted to take with the team and kind of unifying the type of application that we were building. So I did a lot of research. And that was around the time the To Do MVC project came out. So I tried tons of different technologies, different frameworks. One of my team members showed me Angular. I gave that a try, and based on all of the needs that the company and our clients had, it just seemed like a really good fit. That was probably 2012, 2013. Angular was version 1 RC. We started building apps, and then we got good at it and started joining the community, and that's how it all started.
Cool, cool. And do you have any favorite features that were released maybe in the last 12 months in Angular?
Uh, the last 12 months, I just have a really favorite feature that it just blows my mind, which is pipe async. It wasn't released in the last 12 months, but it's the first feature that I think about when I want to explain people how powerful Angular, Angular is. And I'm a huge fan of ArcGIS and reactive programming, and pipe async just make things flow really, really well with the type of apps that I'm building. So that is a top feature that comes to mind.
I mean, actually, I really love that feature. It's like just makes everything so much easier. You don't have to unsubscribe anymore, right?
No, it handles everything for you.
Yeah. So, are you working on any like interesting personal projects that you could share with us?
Yeah, so I've been working on a personal project for the last couple of years, and it's related to neurotechnology and JavaScript. So I've been connecting the brain to the browser, uh, and what that means is that I've been using brainwaves and EEG data to control certain applications and do some neurofeedback experiments. When I have people try to, let's say, there's a flower stud, and I tell them that based on their concentration level, the flower can bloom, and it can control how much it blooms. So I've been showing people how their brain is behaving, so they can learn how to control their brains. And that is something that has been going on for a while, but it hasn't really taken off in the web, and that's what I've been working on, pretty much. So I'm very excited to be starting to working on that full time and immersing myself in neurotechnology, and it's very exciting times.
And so, what sort of things can you do with your brain? Like, and when you connect to a browser, is like what is actually like a practical application of that?
A practical application, the easiest thing to do these days is just to really visualize the data. So you can show a time series of the data as your brainwave, as you're getting brainwave data in real time. But a practical application, a lot of that can include making website accessible by being able to navigate a user interface with like very small hints. Um, and you can also start just like playing around with some brain or metrics. I use a lot of meditation levels and concentration levels to control different UI elements like video playback, like a slider. And then you can just start playing like that, like a progress bar. And it's just really about giving feedback to the user about what their brainwaves are doing, so they can choose to work it out just the same way you will work out your muscles, but you will be working out your brain.
Oh wow, that sounds yeah, quite interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
we should probably try to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, and then so do you have any heroes in the Angular community or just the tech community in general?
Yeah, yeah. Heroes, too many. Yeah, so the obvious ones are, of course, Igor Minar and Mishko, Brad Green, and then I love what Yuri Shaketa is doing. I love what Ashigal Yonet is doing, and a lot of the other folks. Like those are the people that are doing a lot of cool stuff with virtual reality, augmented reality, IoT, so on and so forth. So that's kind of like my favorite area, and they're doing the best work when it comes to that.
Yeah, it really looks like you like to go beyond the screen. It's just like you don't want to be limited to like, hey, this is just my terminal. You want to be everywhere, right?
Yeah, I wanna have a little bit of a feeling of reality and like physics and how we behave and biodata and moving things and just being very interactive. Kind of just like you. I've seen your talks about with Bluetooth and robots and all that. So yeah.
Yeah, those are always fun. So, like you knew me for a little while, right? And this is gonna be the trick questions. Like, I always speak on behalf of NativeScript. So, like, let's put it to a test. Like, what do you know about NativeScript? Do you know what it is?
Yeah, of course. I've been tracking it for a couple of years now, and NativeScript. What is impressive about NativeScript is that you can use a subset of web technologies to build truly native apps, and you guys have taken frameworks like Angular and Vue and have made that work in this native environment, where there are some limitations with some hybrid approaches. In Cordova, you guys are taking like the next step. So yeah, it's truly amazing. So it's something to be very excited about.
All right, that's pretty cool. And so, okay, like towards the end, like, what do you do in your spare time when you're not doing anything that is tech?
Yeah, when I'm not doing tech, I'm playing music. I play the guitar. I used to have a band. I listen to a lot of music. I work out, and I also I love watching Netflix, and I love watching shows, and some entertainment, some media. So I also like hanging out with my friends and family, of course. Yeah.
That's cool. And what's your favorite 80s movie?
Back to the Future. I'm gonna go all cliche with that one. Yeah.
You sound like you were prepared for that one.
Yeah. I'm sure you didn't ask me like before this interview, but yeah.
Of course I didn't know. Thanks a lot, man. Thank you. Thanks, guys.